So Dr. Grammar is here with us to present on personalized precision medicine. Dr. Grammar is the majority owner and co-founder of AMPEL BioSolutions, located in downtown Charlottesville. Amrie is a translational immunologist specializing in human autoimmune diseases, and she was trained at UVA before receiving her Ph.D. in immunology at UTSW Medical Center at Dallas. So thank you, Dr. Grammar, for joining us today. We look forward to hearing what you have to say, and if you have any questions, let me know, but otherwise I'm going to go ahead and share the stage with you. And if you'd like to share your screen or present a presentation, you are more than welcome to. The stage is yours.
Great. Well, thank you, Nick, and thanks to Lindsay for inviting me. I've got a PowerPoint deck that I'm going to share. So AMPEL BioSolutions is located in downtown Charlottesville. I'm a double WHO, lots of connections to VCU, GW, and other universities around the Commonwealth, including Virginia Tech and BCom. AMPEL is a research-based company. Myself and my co-founder, Peter Lipsky, are scientists, and we both have positions at the NIH before founding our company 7 years ago. We host interns, students, postdocs, so anybody out there listening who's interested in connecting, I'm sure you can find my information on the website. So AMPEL provides precise personalized medicine. We harness big data to improve healthcare. And we've developed a genomic platform, bioinformatic tools, and machine learning AI algorithms. Our first focus is lupus, which is a very serious autoimmune disease that affects women, is more serious in minorities, and really shortens lifespan because of organ damage. I'm gonna touch on our application of our platform to COVID, work that we've recently done, and we've also confirmed this in oncology. So we're on the path to commercialize a blood test to be able to predict for patients if their disease is getting better or worse, and to match up the right drug with the right person at the right time. This can also be used in clinical trials to get the right people into the trial to increase chance of success. So the name of the lupus test is called LUGENE, to determine disease status, predict flares, and identify best drugs. So your genes have a lot to tell you, and AMPEL can translate that. We talk about developing your genomic fingerprint, just like we all have a physical fingerprint in our blood, in our tissues. There are cells that are turning off and on genes all the time. Think about genetics is what you're born with. Genomics, gene expression, is what is happening at every moment, in every cell, every day. And you can think of it as like a rock concert with a big light board. There are 20,000 genes, and all of them can be turned off and on at any given time. And it's the summation of that that cause cells to do what they do, and big picture, the immune system, inflammation, to respond. So who are we? Rick mentioned that I'm a double WHO. I'm the majority owner, chief operating officer, and chief scientific officer. I had a lot of training at the NIH, running laboratories, got exposed during the sequencing of the Human Genome Project to making the jump from being a scientist to founding a business. And I did that 7 years ago with my co-founder, Dr. Peter Lipsky, who's a translational immunologist, board certified rheumatologist, that's an MD who works on autoimmune diseases. He's also board eligible in infectious disease, which has been come in handy with our application of our work to COVID. So Dr. Lipsky has a very broad background, was key to the success of the TNF biologics that transformed rheumatoid arthritis from a disease that shortened people's lifespan dramatically to becoming a chronic manageable illness. And that's our goal in lupus. We also have part of the team, John Stacy, also a UVA grad, grew up in Charlottesville, went on to get his MBA at Harvard, a lot of experience in Silicon Valley, heading up the business side. And Dr. Bill Ricketts, also a UVA biology grad initially, went to UCSD for his PhD, has been in California for his career, and has personally been involved in bringing 9 genomic tests in oncology to the market. So he's a really key part of the equation. So we're 7 years old. We followed a non-traditional pathway. We're an LLC, fully owned by myself and my co-founder. We started raising money at the beginning of the year at the BioTech showcase out at JP Morgan. We've done 1 convertible note for $500,000, and we're on the path to raise another 3.5 as a seed round this summer and fall through Virginia investors, and then on to a Series A to bring LUGENE to the market by the first quarter of 2022. How do we do this from the business standpoint? Well, we developed a CRO business. So we've successfully run 5 trials in lupus, 1 in gout, and we use profitability from that to fuel the R&D for our genomic platform, bioinformatic tools, and machine learning AI algorithms. From the start, we developed a patent strategy working with Wilson Sonsini, Goodrich & Rosati, a global well-known patent firm. We have 12 provisionals filed, 2 non-provisionals filed, and we're on track for filing both in Europe and in the United States. So this is really key because this allowed for us to develop a brand new product, really first in class. All of the tests that are out there in oncology, there's nothing in autoimmunity and inflammation to predict disease status and to match up patients with the right drugs. We've been able to market this, the prototype, to pharma. We call that LUGENE Analytics, where pharma comes to us with a gene expression data set from a trial or while they're enrolling patients, and we use our platform and our tools to inform them of what the pathways are and what are the optimal patients for that particular trial testing a drug. So we're looking for funding, really like to start here in Virginia, to scale and commercialize LUGENE for point of care, for the decision support market, to be in every hospital and doctor's office in America, be a routine tool for insurance companies. And as I mentioned, our technology extends into other diseases. We have freedom to operate, and I'll talk about a few of those in a moment. So what's the problem? Everybody knows when you go to the doctor, whether it's for a cold or almost anything else with some small exceptions in oncology, patients don't receive precise treatment. So our solution is the AMPEL genomic platform, bioinformatic tools, machine learning AI algorithms to, from gene expression, the genes that are changing at every moment in your life, your genomic fingerprint, to measure that genomic fingerprint, predict if your disease is going to get better or worse, and to suggest drugs that match up with you as an individual or a group of patients to really get at the core of the problem. So we have an experienced team of advisors, including student interns, postdocs. I'd encourage anyone who's looking for a solid biotech experience to contact us and reach out. I mentioned our technology predicts disease activity and predicts best therapy, the genomic fingerprinting, and extends way beyond lupus. Over the years, we've built the world's largest lupus gene expression data set, over 10,000 patients now, with deep clinical data. This fuels that machine learning AI capability. We validated that technology with our pharma customers. We now have 4 current customers that are global pharmaceutical companies. And the fact that we have an in-house CRO means that we can do all of the validation studies necessary in-house more quickly and more cost effectively than doing that outside of the organization. So a little bit about lupus. It is a very expensive disease. It shortens people's lifespans. It interferes with quality of life. The majority of patients are women, although men do get the disease, and it's often more serious in men. and minorities tend to have a much more serious course. All of the drugs are non-specific. They're very old: prednisone, mycophenolate. There's only been one new drug approved for lupus in 60 years, Benlysta, and it works for a minority of patients. So there's a real need. What is the real endpoint problem in lupus is organ damage. So when you get uncontrolled inflammation, whether it's from COVID and getting lung damage, or in an autoimmune disease like lupus and getting damage to your kidney, that's the thing that shortens lifespan. And in lupus really leads to the high cost of kidney transplants. So we went into the Symphony Dataverse and looked to see lupus patients on average get 4 diagnostic tests a year, and that resulted in change in medication. So we use that in our financial model. Quite a large total accessible market, TAM, of $4.5 to $8.5 billion, be much more for all autoimmune diseases. And unlike cancer, autoimmune is chronic. So from a financial model, you have more economic lifespan than you do in oncology. So what is the genomic fingerprint? So those of you that know bioinformatics, I'm showing you a heat map where red are genes that are up, blue are genes that are down. On the x-axis are patients, on the y-axis are all of our tools. And we're looking at our fingerprint as the blue and red pattern. The bottom line is, with our tools, we can use that pattern to predict disease activity and match up with best drug. What do we do now? We have current pharma customers, that's on the bottom. We call that LUGENE Analytics or LUGENE Prototype. Pharma comes to us with the data already from the blood sample or the tissue biopsy. It's already RNA, gene expression. We run it through our AMPEL genomic platform, AGP, our bioinformatic tools, machine learning AI algorithms, come up with a genomic fingerprint and suggest patients that are optimal for the drug being tested. Moving forward, we're looking to raise money to commercialize the LUGENE lab test. This would be a lab test just like you get cholesterol tested in the doctor's office, where they draw blood in a particular tube. You know, you see green top, red top, purple top tubes. When you go to the phlebotomist, there's a special tube they draw the blood into, can be processed for RNA, will go into the pipeline and come back with a decision support report for the doctor and the physician. So where are we? What have we done? What's the traction? What's the pathway to market? We have 4 active contracts with global pharma. This is validating the technology, showing that it's useful and actionable. We're ready to move forward with the development of the lab test. We've interviewed and identified CLIA certified labs that do this in oncology every day. So we would start out part-time in a machine, part-time technician to reduce costs. Dr. Ricketts would come on full-time as VP of Diagnostics with funding. We have a regulatory plan to go for CLIA certification. We've already started on the KOL and physician acceptance. We have 52 clinical trial sites in the US already for lupus. So we have deep contacts both with patients and physicians. We have a contractor, Dr. Melissa McElraith, very well known in the autoimmunity world and medical affairs, who's poised to join full-time upon funding. The market research is complete. We're poised to implement the plan. The key to all of this is reimbursement. Every test that is done in a hospital or doctor's office requires reimbursement by health insurance. So we've already developed a plan with Alva 10, and Hannah has done this before for multiple tests in the autoimmune space and in oncology. So we're very confident in the strategy development for reimbursement for payers. So a key concept and really the vision of the future of this technology and the vision of AMPEL and potential new revenue streams from licensing and royalty beyond lupus is that the test collects all genes. So you can think of genes as the color of the rainbow. You know, white is white. We're seeing all of the colors of the rainbow all the time, but our eyes only perceive the white light. But using a filter, you can look at all those individual colors. And that's what our AMPEL genomic platform, bioinformatic tools, machine learning, AI algorithms are. So we've already confirmed this in oncology with a West Coast partner poised for strategic investment, as well as in COVID-19. And given that that's a very current concern, I just have 2 slides. AMPEL received a lot of press locally about a month ago about applying our platform and tools to COVID. And these are some of the members of the AMPEL team focused on the local CBS channel. So what did we do? We used the same platform, the same tools, using samples from blood. When a patient is in the ICU and they're intubated, their lungs need to be rinsed out, that's bronchiolar lavage, as well as biopsy samples, unfortunately, from patients that didn't survive the illness. From that, we've been able to identify patients that would progress to severe illness versus those that may be asymptomatic or have mild illness. And we've also identified a list of drugs that could be given early to blunt that really terrible inflammation that happens that causes the lung damage and damage to other organs that becomes irreversible in some patients. So our business strategy for this is to find a partner who already has a gene expression test on the market to measure COVID genes to diagnose and would want to license AMPEL's technology to offer a concomitant test or reflex test to the patient to say, you're positive, but you could take this test and we'll be able to predict whether you're going to get mild to moderate illness or progress to severe illness, and here are drug options. And a lot of the drugs that AMPEL identified are already in clinical trial for COVID, and a number of others were in talks with the pharma companies that own the intellectual property to try to get them into the testing stage. So getting back to LUGENE, what's our timeline, where we are now? We're already doing this with pharma customers. That's LUGENE Analytics, and that's the genomic fingerprinting technology. We're raising $3.5 million to bring the test to fruition in that CLIA certified lab partner in California, bring on the necessary personnel to make that happen, and to get CLIA certification and get it on the market by 2022. So the business model, we're already generating revenue from our CRO business, which is field R&D for AMPEL's genomic platform, AGP, the bioinformatic tools, machine learning, AI algorithms. We already have revenue from LUGENE Analytics, our genomic fingerprinting with pharma customers, 4 active contracts right now, several more under negotiation. These pharma partners are also very interested in the final test that will come to market and utilizing that as a screening tool for their clinical trials to get optimal patients in the trial for the drug being tested. And finally, the financial model for the test itself, starting out initially with a test around $1,000, much less expensive than the cancer test. From our analysis, looks like that's in the sweet spot for initial reimbursement, moving to the $1,000 to $2,000 test range by 2022, starting out with 7,000 to 10,000 tests in the first year and ramping up from there. In addition, bringing on more licensing and royalty revenue from the application of the platform, the tools and the algorithms in oncology. We already have a West Coast partner with that, as well as in COVID-19, and looking for licensing partners for that technology. So where are we now? We have the team in place and poised to join. We already have commercial and clinical validation, novel IP, and the proprietary machine learning AI approaches and the bioinformatic tools. The IP and technology extend beyond lupus. AMPEL has assembled the world's largest database of lupus gene expression profiles And with every test, this will only grow. AMPEL has global business relationships across pharma, and we've developed the KOL relationships necessary through collaborations in clinical trials. We have multiple collaborations throughout the universities in Virginia, and we're always looking for new partners. So love to hear from audience members out there for potential new projects. We're ready to go with the regulatory and the test development, and the established CRO allows in-house validation. The market and potential revenue exceeds $1 billion annually. We've been valued by Excel partners between 20 and 25 million. That was the basis of the first convertible note, and comparisons are to Foundation Medicine and other similar companies. The use of funds is really to get the commercialization going, the development, to bring on medical affairs and product management full time, as well as to expand the administrative and the operations team. With that, I thank you for your attention. I really welcome your questions, opportunities for collaboration, talks with potential investors. AMPEL, your genes have a lot to tell you. We can translate. AMPEL identifies your genomic fingerprint to bring precise, personalized medicine. Thanks a lot and have a great day.